Hey guys, and welcome to this quick update about the Jigsaw Inventory new update. It's basically a new special widget or container. So let me show you here. So if we go ahead and play, you can see here that we have a tactical rig, and if I double click here, you can see that it has a combination of equip to slot, something like this, and inventory slot. So like the main container. So you can build this container yourself. You can obviously add whatever you want, and you can add your own custom logic, and you can then assign it to the item. So here I added a tactical rig slot, and just like the backpack, I handled the on equip event, and then I added this special widget here. And obviously I can put something here, can add whatever I want, and of course inside of the special widget you can select the support items, and of course add your own logic there. So basically, or let me show you this tactical rig. If I go to system here, widgets, I have here special container. So this is the special container one, which is my tactical rig. And as you can see here, we have a GSI container, which is of type equip to slot, and then we have this and this one, which are both of type inventory, and this one is equip to slot as well. So it's just a combination of containers, which you can customize however you want, and I will show you later how to create your own. And then you can go to the data table. So data table, and we can look for example tactical rig right here, and we can go at the bottom. So it can be either a container or a non-container. So it can work for a weapon, for example a rifle, for something like an attachment system. So if you want to make an attachment system, this would be the way as well. So here we have special container widget. You can select which container you want. And there is a hidden variable called special widget reference, which you can of course use to get the widget reference and then add it to the viewport or do whatever you want with it. So let's go ahead and see what we can do, or how we can create another special container for, let's say, the weapon. So for example, an attachment system, you can do that with this feature as well. So we can go here. Of course, there's also, I forgot to mention, the let's see, special container. So we have this widget interface. It's a blueprint interface. This interface allows us to get the reference, the item reference, and from this item reference we can also get the container that's hosting this item. And this allows us, of course, to modify the item that we want. So once again, if you are going to use it for an attachment system, you can modify the item directly. For example, modify its image, modify the size, which we will do here in a second. So let's go ahead, and we can of course just copy paste here, and then it will automatically copy. If I go to graph here and then settings, you can see here that it's using the GSI special widget interface. Now so ideally, just go ahead and copy paste this. So if you do right click here, duplicate, and you can just work with this one, and it should be good to go. You just have to add your own containers and logic, etc. But let's just go ahead and start from scratch so we understand the whole, the entire process. So first thing you want to do, you want to go to user interface here, widget blueprint, and let's just call it special container 2, and there you go. And then we want to double click that widget, and then first thing you want to do, go to the graph here, then go to class settings, and you want to select the interface here. So click on add and look for GSI special widget interface. So after adding the special widget interface, go ahead and compile, and then right click here, look for event, set item reference. Now this function right here, or event, comes from the special interface. Here it is. You can add, obviously you can add more functions if you want, but this is called by the item to send us the the item reference when the special container or special widget is created. So back to our special container 2, and we can right click here, promote to variable, and then we can call it item reference. Now this is going to be the item which the special container is assigned to. So basically, if you want to access the item or modify it, this is how it's done. And if you want the container which hosts or currently hosting this item, you can just get the slot mother, I think. No, actually not slot mother, but mother container. That would be the container that hosts or currently hosting this item. So you can just go promote to variable and call it like a container reference. Okay, so that would be, I think, or I believe that's all we need to do. That's pretty much it. Yeah, as far as the interface goes, so we can just compile, save. You can obviously customize this however you want, but we can start by, like we did here, we can add an overlay, we can add a border, horizontal box, however you want to do it, it's fine. Just go ahead and close this interface, we don't need it now. So we can start by doing a, we can do actually a border, why not? We can add a border, and we can do, we can change the brush here. So go into brush color, we can select like something like black, why not? And then opacity, something like 0.7. So we have that, you know, so we can see through a little bit. You can of course rename these main border just to access it later, make it a variable, and then we can add a an overlay, or like if you don't need an overlay, you can add like a vertical box. I'm just going to do something very simple here, just to show you how it's done. Obviously you can take as much time as you want to make it look good. But I'm going to add a vertical box here, and then I'm going to add an equip to container. So just look for GSI container, and I'm gonna add it here, and I'm going to go here, gonna give it 0 as the container ID, gonna make it a inventory or equip to, that's fine. Number of rows we can do like 1, and for X here we can do something like 120. Go ahead and compile it real quick here, and we can select the main border and make size to content, so we have everything nice and clean. So we can rename this as our GSI1, that's fine. Add a spacer here, just at the bottom right here, and then we can either copy paste, just go ahead and copy paste here. And this is our second container, let's go ahead and rename that to 2. And then for the spacer, we can go to the Y and do like 5, so we have some space here. And for the border, let's go ahead and change the color a little bit, just something you can see. That's fine, just for the example. So we have 2 equip to slots. Let's go ahead and give this the ID 1, and then we can say, for example, this is going to be our suppressor slot. Now once again, it can be much better than this obviously, but this is just a quick example. So selecting the GSI container 1, and then for the what is it called, support items, we can do weapon attachment, and same thing here, support items weapon attachment. There you go. I'm going to do another video about this restricted item IDs, because sometimes you do want to support weapon attachments, but only certain attachments. So stay tuned for that. But for now, this is going to be our special container, and now we can go back to the data table, and we can select the rifle, one of the rifles. Obviously we can do the first one, the M416, just make sure that it's M416, yes. And then we can go here to the special container widget, and then select the special container 2, and click on double click here. We want to open it when we double click on it, and then we can go ahead and play. And this is our M4, and then we can just double click, and as you can see here, here's our special container, which obviously we can add suppressor right there, and then we can change the size if we want. We could put it here, put it back. Obviously, if you try to put a knife, as you can see, it's not gonna work because we modified the special or the support item. So let's go ahead and change the size of this rifle when we add a suppressor, just like we have it here right now. We can also change the image if you want. Obviously, here when I drop the attachment, I'm using the slot on slot event, so you can use that as well for like quick attachments. But for now, let's just go ahead and use the special container or special widget. So we'll do it for this guy right here. So here's our GSI container, and we can like let's see, on event construct. So with this widget construct, we can just do it once, as no, not this 30, but do once. We don't want to do this every time, so we only want to do it once. And we'll get this GSI container and look for equip change or bind event. Just look for bind event, just like we did with the backpack in the other videos. So so the event that we're looking for here is on item equip change, and then we want to do drag a pin from event, then look for or click on add event right here and look for add custom event. So that's going to create the event for us, so we can call it event on attachment equip, for example. So remember, thanks to the event right here, we have the item reference and we have the container mother, and we just have to use that to change the size. Now obviously you don't have to change the size, but this is just an example to show you how to modify the item reference. So we're gonna say if equipped. If equipped, we can get the item, the container. We can do resize item. Here we go, and then we can add like 1 to X. And then when it gets unequipped, we can do the same thing, except this time we will take 1 from the X here. So once again, target, don't forget that. And then for the item, it's going to be this guy. So here we added 1, and then when we take out the attachment, we wanna take 1. So let's go ahead and try that. And now if we double click here, make sure we have enough space, add the suppressor. As you can see, now our rifle has is wider, and we can take out the suppressor, and as you can see, the size of the item gets changed. Obviously, we can also change the image. When we equip the item, we can do item change texture. I think we can do it from the container. Let's see, change texture, change image, change item image, that's fine. And the item image of this guy, and then look for the other image of the rifle once suppressed, and then we can do the same thing here when the item gets unequipped. So always this item, and the target will be this container, and then rifle. Here we go. So now we should be able to update the image when we equip the rifle. And as you can see, it gets equipped. Remove the rifle. There you go. So this is just a quick example. Obviously there are better ways of doing this, but this is just to give you an idea of how you can create your special container. You know, add some basic logic like this by calling certain functions like resize the item, change the item image, and of course you can add your own logic based on how your game is working. Now of course here, don't forget to see if it actually got resized or not, because sometimes we don't have enough space. So if the item successfully got resized, then we can change the image. There we go. There we go. So one last thing, which is very important. So notice here, if I go ahead and double click and then put the suppressor, and as you can see, nothing happened because we don't have enough space to resize the item, but we still have the suppressor attached. So in this case, we can either put the suppressor back or like unequip the item and then put the suppressor back to its where it came from. And obviously you can get that from here. So the slot reference, which is the suppressor that we just dropped, you can get get mother container, get the mother container, and then like add etc, and then equip the item. But that wouldn't be ideal. What you need to do here, so the best way would be to handle these permissions. So we can allow drag. Let's see, handle container to container, we can uncheck that. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. So I can, let's see, double click here. So now if I put it there, you see that nothing happened. But when you uncheck this option right here, handle container to container, drop, this means that it's not going to happen automatically, meaning that the item will not be equipped when you drop it over the this container or this container. Well, this container, because this one still has it on, but for this container specifically, it's not going to, nothing will happen, but another event will be triggered, which you need to handle, and we'll do it right now. So what we need to do here is we need to handle another event. So let's just do custom event. So let's call it event attachment dropped. How about that? Okay, so and then we can call it here. So event attachment dropped. So we can just handle it basically. So here, and then we want to get the container, and then look for bind. You want to look for container on container and handled. So this is the special event that you need to handle when you don't want to, or when you don't want the an item to be equipped automatically just by dropping it over another container. So if you go ahead, or like basically if you uncheck this option right here, you will need to handle the drop event yourself. So let's go ahead and add the event right here. So add event and custom. So attachment, just call it attachment dropped event. So once again, if I go ahead and play, you're gonna notice that if I drop the suppressor, nothing will happen, but this event right here will be triggered, meaning that you will need to handle it yourself. So let's see if that works. Let's just go ahead and do this suppressor, and as you can see, here's the message, and all we need to do right now is make sure we can attempt to resize the item. And what do we need to resize here? Well, obviously you can always verify certain information, such as what attachment here we're talking about. Here we assume that it's a suppressor, but obviously it could be anything else. Or it depends if you have multiple containers, so you know that it's definitely the suppressor because you have it in your supported items. But if you want to verify any information, obviously drop slot reference, this is the item that we dropped, so you can get info and see what item it is. You have from container to containers, you have all these informations. So here what we're gonna do is we're going to attempt to resize the item. If it works, then we can equip the item. So here's what we're gonna do. We have the item right here, so the drop slot reference. We're going to get this one. Well, we need it here as well, so just put it here, then copy, just like this one, except here we're equipping the item ourselves. We're not using the normal drop event. So if the item is successfully resized, then we can equip it ourselves, right? So we want to do equip item. Here we go. So what do we want to equip? We want to get the drop slot reference, get the info. Here we go. We want to break this. Then we want to go here to the details panel, and then we can select whatever information we want. So first, item ID. Here we go. And then the slot vector, it's going to be the slot dimension here. And that's pretty much it. And that's about it for now. So let's go ahead and try. But first, it's not the JSI container, I'm sorry. It's going to be this one, container reference for sure. So that's what we're going to use. Don't use the container one to resize an item. So here we go. And no, we don't need that there. So here the container is going to be our container reference, and then item reference. and then if it gets resized successfully, then we can equip it. When you equip an item, it's going to trigger this event right here. So we should be fine here. So once again, let's just go quickly try to equip it. Doesn't work because we don't have enough space. And then if I try it once again here, there you go, it works. But obviously we need to remove it from the main container. So we can get this guy from container and do remove item by reference. So after we equip it, we can also verify if it got equipped. So if it's true, then we can remove it from the from whatever container the item came from. So quickly, what we need is the dropped slot reference. So that's going to be our item that we want to remove. So let's try once again. Move the rifle here, double click, put the suppressor gets equipped. Here you go. So we didn't change the image because this one failed. So here we don't need to resize the item ourselves because it's done from the unhandled event. So so here we do resize it, as you can see. Now obviously here you can also try can resize. This one right here will also tell you whether you can resize or not. But here we resize the item. If it works, then we trigger this one because we do equip it here and then remove it from the container it came from. This one will trigger. Since we already resized it here, we only need to change the image. So once again, just put it here really quickly, and that works just fine. So take it out of the suppressor also requires us to handle it here. Okay, so after we equip it, we can then get this GSI container and then set the permission back. So we can say handle set handle container on drop, and then we can just like set that to true. So we can be able to remove the attachment. So put this here, open it up, and then we can remove the attachment. And then when you remove the attachment, you do want to set this back to true here, and then we set it to false so we can handle this event right here. So I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. I will do more tutorials in the future, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe to be notified when a new video goes up. So I hope this video is useful. Take care and see you soon.